Courtesy of the Ariel Helwani Show, the Ariel Helwani Show YouTube channel just passed 301,000 subscribers. We have the footage from Tuff-N-Uff of something crazy that went down earlier today when I was in Las Vegas. Just got home, by the way. So what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video from the 10-7 MMA channel. And we got some crazy news that I had to break before I went to bed, although it's already been broken. And I'm so bummed I didn't get this video out earlier because I was there live. I saw it go down. I got a little bit of footage on my phone, but nothing great. And I was searching to find really good quality footage of this entire ordeal, and I found it on Ariel Helwani's channel. And I guess he got the footage via Tuff-N-Uff. But anyways, this was crazy. Let me set the stage. So as I mentioned yesterday in a video, I said, man, I had just a UFC fan's dream come true. I got to go train at Extreme Couture with Jordan Christensen, who's a BKFC fighter. Justin Janes hooked that up for me. So thank you, Justin. And then when we trained in the cage with Eric Nixick. That was crazy. He actually was also at Tuff-N-Uff earlier today, a smaller MMA promotion that does a lot of shows out of Vegas. It's like the main feeder league into the UFC. They're on UFC Fight Pass. It's an awesome league. Sean Shelby was there as well at the fights today. And they do a spectacular job with the entire production, with the timing of the fighters, with the pro. I mean, it was just phenomenal from top to bottom. Everything was great. But anyways, so I had this crazy day. Then I, at the last minute, decided to buy tickets to UFC 317, had awesome floor seats, went in there, saw the craziest knockout, one of the craziest knockouts ever. Ilia Topuria KOs Charles Oliveira, lots of other amazing fights. The whole card was amazing, main card. And then I was saying that I was going to Tuff-N-Uff today, which I did. And guess who was commentating? Our boy on the 10-7, Justin Janes. And you're going to hear him on this clip as well. We're watching the fights, and this all of a sudden comes on as one of the pro fights. And look what happened. So because this is in Vegas, Extreme Couture had a lot of fighters on this card. So this is one of their fighters, and it's the guy who's in the headlock right now, in the guillotine right now. That's the Extreme Couture guy. I don't know if it's on his shorts, but anyways, this is the other fighter right here. This is the guy who's, back is against the cage. That's the guy who's not on the Extreme Couture team. But of course, this fighter who's on the Extreme Couture team, he was being coached by Sean Strickland and Chris Curtis. They were both in his corner. So check out what happens. I guess they've been talking back and forth. He was talking back and forth with Sean Strickland throughout the fight. And then look what happens. This is crazy.
Hernandez, I think, just stuck his tongue out to Sean Strickland. So I saw Sean smirk.
So that's Justin right there on the commentating. He commentates for Tuff-N-Uff.
And that is the end.
The tap.
The stash. Luis Hernandez gets it done.
He's talking to Chris Curtis and Sean.
So you hear Justin, he said he's talking to Chris Curtis and Sean, so he does that gesture. So I'll play it one more time. This is what he does to both those guys. Check it out.
Just stuck his tongue out to Sean Strickland. So I saw Sean smirk.
And that is the end. The stash. Luis Hernandez gets it done.
He's talking to Chris Curtis and Sean.
Oh, Sean Strickland. Oh, wow. Whoa. Oh, shit. No.
Yeah, I saw him sticking his tongue out at Sean.
Oh, yeah, that's way out of line, though, man. You can't. Come on, Sean. Wow.
You like that? You like it?
I mean, there was definitely some showboating there from Hernandez.
All right, so that's another angle. And then Ariel Helwani goes on to interview him afterwards. I'm not going to necessarily play that, but I mean, he basically says, hey, look, this is entertainment. Those guys were talking smack to me throughout the fight, so I just gave some back to them, and then Sean Strickland just exploded. Chris Curtis had his back. Chris Curtis didn't lay hands on him, but you saw Sean Strickland landed a punch. Now, what's amazing about what happened is that afterwards in his speech after he won, because that clip isn't included here, but Sean Shelby was in the audience, and this guy, what's his name? Hold on, let me see if I can get his name here real quick, because I do think, hold on one second, I do think it's worthwhile to say his name, since this was kind of a legendary moment. All right, check it out.
So the guy that Sean just hit.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, Amanda you know, we were in the fight, and they were talking in the fight.
Okay, so he didn't even say his name. He said, "You're the guy." So, anyways, oh, by the way, so I walked past Ariel a couple times. He was in the audience as well. They had like standing room only. The whole show sold out. So he was there with his crew, which was pretty cool. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you this guy's name because I don't want to leave him out here. I'm just looking up Tuff-N-Uff right now on my phone. You can go to their Instagram page and you can see the full card and everything. So this was, Hussinger versus Hernandez. So his last name is Hernandez. That's the fighter who is being interviewed right now. Okay, but what happened afterwards was dope because Sean Shelby was in the audience and Hernandez basically goes, "Hey, listen, man, I'm on a 6-fight win streak. I want to make it in the UFC." And then he says, "Sean Strickland," he's like, "I'm 185. Sean Strickland couldn't knock me out. So what's up?" And he basically calls out Sean Shelby and asks to get his shot in the UFC. So I thought he played that perfectly in terms of that, the aftermath. Now, in terms of, look, MMA, I think there is this element of trash talk, smack talk, of beefs, of going back and forth. And we all eat that up as fans. But usually it's a respectful sport. Most opponents even in that fight, all the fights that I saw, they were showing their opponents a lot of respect at the end. And actually, to his credit, Hernandez, they didn't show this, but Hernandez showed his opponent. They talked afterwards. They seemed to have respect, but I think that just things got out of hand there. But was that appropriate to do those gestures and to make those gestures to Chris Curtis and to Sean Strickland? Look, I don't know. Maybe they were saying stuff to him, so he felt like it was justified. It was warranted. Whatever it may be, you do that to Sean Strickland, I think you're going to get that type of response. He came in there, and to his credit, man, to Hernandez's credit, he stood strong, and he turned it into a positive. I think he's getting buzz. He's talking to Ariel Helwani. I don't think that otherwise would have happened. So pretty crazy. Now, one thing we were talking to, I had lunch right after with Justin, or dinner, I guess, early dinner with Justin and his coach, Roman, who also trains at Extreme Couture. And we were talking about that whole event. And they're like, yeah, Sean's probably going to get some sort of a suspension for storming the cage like that in Nevada. And then they also said other commissions may honor that suspension. So I don't know when Sean was planning to fight, but if it was soon, Israel Adesanya was calling him out. If it was soon, maybe that will be delayed now as a result. I don't know. But anyways, it was crazy. Shout out to Hernandez for staying calm, cool, collected, and turning that into a little bit of PR during that post-fight speech. But anyways, that's what happened. Crazy how it went down. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Sean and Chris Curtis were justified based on what Hernandez did? Or do you think that Hernandez shouldn't have done that in the first place? I mean, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Just a crazy event. I don't even know if I'm making complete sense right now because I'm so tired. I literally just landed, got home, took the garbage out, and then started making this video. I got to go to bed. Thank you guys so much for joining. We'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.